Welcome, Marie, to the Well Vegan Travel Podcast. I'm so pleased to have you on the podcast, Marie, to talk about this wonderful vegan travel opportunity that people can experience just really not that far from the center of Paris. You're not originally from France. So could you begin by introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about La Grange des Rochers?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'm actually originally from Canada, and now my husband and I call France our home in the beautiful countryside here in France. We have a vegan bed and breakfast here. It's like a work in process because we're doing a lot of renovations.
I've seen those TV shows where they renovate old buildings and there's always drama. I'm sure you had some. Why was it that you decided to leave North America to move to France 8 years ago now?
Yeah, gosh, it feels a lot longer. We came here in 2018, and I think one of the biggest things is, for me, I've lived in France before, but when I moved back to North America, I was very, missing the history and the culture and hearing a foreign language in the background and being able to easily access all these countries around us, like Italy and Portugal and everything around France. But obviously France itself is one of our favorites. But I think the biggest thing was coming to a country that's just rich of history and culture and hearing French. I mean, French is such a beautiful language.
Absolutely. I'm guessing by now you and your partner speak French?
Yes. David and I speak French. I mean, we do make a few grammatical errors, but we definitely get by.
That's
for sure.
Amazing. Okay, so you're located in the Fontainebleau area in the Ile-de-France countryside. And for listeners that don't know, the Ile-de-France is basically the area surrounding Paris. Why were you drawn to this area?
I think the biggest reason why we decided to come here is for the Fontainebleau forest, which is a magnificent forest. It's one of the largest forests here in France. It's a very historical forest. In fact, we actually both rock climb. So we came here to be closer to outdoor rock climbing. But at the same time, it's so close to the city, it's easy to access Paris. So if we wanted to have a day in Paris, it's only an hour away. So it's very, very practical, let's just say. I think the biggest reason is because of the forest.
Okay, so only an hour. That's really quite accessible. How is it that people can get to your bed and breakfast from Paris or from the airport?
Well, we have a lot of guests that normally drive here, but the ones that don't, they can easily catch a train from the center of Paris to our place, which is our local train station's about 15 minutes away by car. And the train itself is about 50 minutes. And it's a really quick ride. And it's only €2.50 to catch that train to our little village. Yeah. So it's a fast train. And we get a lot of people from England. And they're like, wow, it's so fast. And it's air conditioned. And it's so inexpensive. And for those who don't have a car, we pick them up at the local train station and we organize that with our guests. So, which is really nice. So they don't have to have a car and they can just, enjoy the French countryside and explore locally around us.
And what would you say are the biggest differences between your life now and your life before you came to France?
Oh, geez. I mean, we're just as busy. We moved here so we wouldn't be busy, but we're busy because we choose to be busy for ourselves, so to speak. But I think the biggest thing is really just living in the peaceful French countryside. I mean, our village has a population of 300, but we probably only see 5 people max a day.
Wow.
Wandering. It's a very, very quiet village. I think the population says 300, but there are a lot of secondary homes here. So we don't often see many people, but it's a very calm place and it's, located in a valley surrounded by sunflower fields most of the time in the summer. So it's just really lovely.
Oh, how nice. How nice. And what made you decide on the property that you ended up buying? Did you know that you were going to have a bed and breakfast when you found it? Was that always the goal, or how did that all play out?
Well, I've always wanted a bed and breakfast. I can't tell you why. I think it's just the idea of hosting. It just seems really, we love hosting, my husband and I've always wanted to help other vegans from around the world, So I think that's really where the idea started from. But then again, I wasn't vegan when I decided to have a bed and breakfast. And then suddenly I'm like, I'm vegan. I want to help travelers, especially in France. It's so difficult to find a place that doesn't just have cheese or animals. So it's really nice to have that convenience here. I think one of the biggest things is that we did look for a place that we were envisioning to buy here in France, in the French countryside, but it wasn't what we were imagining. And then at some point, David found a barn actually on just a regular website, not like through a real estate agent, but through something like Craigslist or a Gumtree or something like that. And he was like, this is what we need, a blank slate. And basically I asked, are you sure this is what you want to do? And David said, yes, this is what I want to do. And I love this village. And I see myself being very happy living in this village for the rest of my life. So I was like, okay, let's do this. So we bought this barn, and it's a very long-term project, but we're getting there.
So what was the condition of the property when you purchased it? Did it have a lot of land with it? Was it really almost falling down? Create a picture for us as to what you walked into that day when you got the keys.
Absolutely. I mean, so the barn itself is from the 1800s. It's a stone building. We had one area that's horse stables. They had manure on the ground and like a horse trough there. And this area here didn't have like heated floors, and it was like a real barn, basically.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally started from scratch. And then we had hay hanging out from the top of the ceilings because there were hay bells on top. And so it was an incredible adventure, that is for sure. And we've had a guest recently ask, like, so when you moved into the barn, or when you got the barn, did you move into it right away? The answer is yes.
We wow.
Did. Yeah. So David worked on making it, livable in one area, really, really hard, temporarily livable. And it's been great so far. So now we have a really nice renovated area where the horse stables was. But it's just little by little, so David's just finishing up the kitchen in the barn. So,
and what have been the biggest challenges during the renovation?
Ooh, biggest challenge. I mean, here's the thing. David does all the renovations himself. Wow, so, I mean, removing massive wood beams because he needs to make sure that the ceilings are a little bit higher or lower or whatever he needs to do. So he's using pulley systems and just kind of like the law of physics all by himself. So I think the biggest challenge is he does everything himself, and he doesn't ask for help, but he gets there somehow. But I think it's trying to find the patience, doing everything one step at a time to get to that final destination.
Wow, I am full of awe. Honestly, me and Seb, we don't have a DIY bone in our body. We are terrible. We're gifted in other ways, but the idea of having this sort of blank slate and then creating something that requires so much skill and vision, I just can't even imagine being able to do that. So, I mean, that's such an incredible achievement. And of course, particularly for David, who took this on, and by the sounds of it, he really did do everything himself. That's absolutely amazing. So now you have this beautiful property. It's still being renovated from what you're saying, but now that you have some rooms for a vegan bread and breakfast, can you explain to our listeners what the bed and breakfast is like, what the rooms are like, how many rooms you have, and how many you hope to have in the future?
We want to keep things nice and intimate here. So we're not going into like this big hotel feeling. We want to keep things cozy and peaceful. So at the moment, we have one cottage, and David fully renovated that. And it's one bedroom at the moment, but we hope to make it a 2-bedroom hopefully next year. So that would be like a 2-bedroom cottage. So could sleep a whole family or 2 couples or however, but it would be like the same group. And then we want to have another room for sure in the actual barn itself where the hay bales used to be.
Up in the loft.
Yeah, so it'd be like an ensuite room. And ideally what we're thinking of is maybe having that ensuite master bedroom year round, whereas Bella's cottage would be seasonal. So basically from like May to September. So that's kind of what we're thinking of at the moment, but it could change anytime.
And what is the decor like in the room? What kind of facilities do they have?
Well, the cottage itself has a fully equipped vegan kitchen and a stunning rustic bathroom. Got a clawfoot bathtub in there, Italian shower, and heated floors. It is a beautiful cottage, dining room, living room. Most of our guests, when they arrive, they say, wow, this cottage doesn't even justify the photos because it's such a big cottage, but also cozy and rustic at the same time. So, yeah.
Oh, how lovely. So it definitely surpasses people's expectations when they come and stay. Oh, that's always lovely, isn't it? Undersell and over-deliver.
Yeah.
Awesome. And of course, there's a bed and breakfast. I'm sure you supply a nice vegan breakfast for guests. What can people expect for breakfast when they stay with you?
David does all the cooking here at the bed and breakfast. So he does a really gorgeous cooked breakfast, organic breakfast. And he does all the gardening here. So he tries to use a lot of the veggies from our garden for the breakfast. We try to stick more to the savory side when it comes to breakfast. It starts off with something sweet. There's two parts, basically, but it's really, really delicious. It's organic. And we also try to make sure that every breakfast is different. So we have that variety in there. We're not just eating the same thing every day because we've traveled a lot. We just really appreciate having something creative and different every day. So it's a cooked breakfast every morning, organic, mostly from our garden. And then dinners, we offer optional dinners with our guests.
Oh, wow, you offer dinner. That's amazing.
Yeah, and I think a lot of our guests, most of our guests actually take that option because they just don't want to have to find a place to eat at that offers vegan options or even a fully vegan restaurant. Or they just don't want to travel. They just want to stay here in the peaceful countryside. And David just makes amazing meals. So it's a 3-course meal with organic wine, organic vegan wine, actually. So it's a very, very delicious gourmet, how would you say, day full of delicious meals.
I love it. And is the dinner delivered to the room or do you have like a dining room? How is the setup for that?
So the dinners are held outdoors, except if the weather is non-permitting, which is why we're seasonal at the moment, because David is just finishing up the finishing touches in the kitchen indoors in the dining room. So that would mean that if there was a rainy day, we would just hang out here next to this gorgeous arch that David built and eat inside.
Amazing.
Well, it's not every day you get to eat inside in a barn from the 1800s.
I travel far to stay in vegan accommodations and have beautiful vegan food when I'm traveling. But, if I'm really honest, that's not the only reason why I travel. There's, I want to see the surrounding area and experience the history and the culture and the nature around. What are the things that I could do if I was to spend maybe a week in that part of France?
Gosh, there's so many things to recommend here. I mean, there's so much, as you said, there's a lot of culture and history here. We have a lot of favorite villages. I would suggest definitely visiting Fontainebleau itself because you have this gorgeous chateau there that's from the 12th century. And Napoleon used to live there, which is really amazing. And the gardens are just phenomenal. And we always give a very special viewpoint to our guests of the chateau. And they always go there and have a little picnic or at least take a photo of it. But yeah, it's really, really beautiful. And then also another really gorgeous town is called Moray-sur-Loing, which is only less than 20 minutes away. It's just, again, another medieval village along the river with cobble street roads and this gorgeous stone bridge over the river. It's very picturesque. I'd say those two are my absolute favorites especially for the first few days. But then we have some smaller villages close by that are a lot calmer. There's one that's called Flagey. It's about 10 minutes away. It's a very floral village, and it's got these streams with little bridges, and it's just so French. And there's a little private vineyard there. We usually do cycling tours here with our guests. So sometimes we cycle up to that village itself, which is really nice. But yeah, I would say there's so much to see around us. I could just keep going with the list, but I would say those are the main top 2 villages, the first 2 that we always tell our guests that they must see around us.
And it sounds like there's some beautiful nature, the lovely forests as well of Fontainebleau forest. I'm sure they have tons of trails for running or walking or biking.
Absolutely, yeah. Lots of mountain biking and again, rock climbing and hiking. Although at the moment there is just a massive wildfire in Fontainebleau. So at the moment it's closed. They just had, I think, 2,000 hectares burnt down 4 days ago. It's normally wonderful, but they've just recently closed the forest until it's safe again to go through. It's quite sad because it's such a historical forest that burnt down so recently. Normally there's so much to do in the forest here.
Yes, we're recording this episode in the middle of July 2026, and Europe has been very, very hot for the past recent weeks. I was there and it was very, very hot. So I'm sure this forest fire is a result of everything drying out so much during this incredible heat wave that Europe has been in grips with. So yeah, hopefully they'll get some rain soon. My goodness.
Okay. Yeah.
So you mentioned that Paris is only about an hour away. I'm sure some of your guests either go there before they come and join you or go there after they've spent some time with you. I'd love it if you could share your favorite vegan restaurants that you can recommend to listeners for Paris, because there's so many and it's always nice to get people's real preferences.
Yes, absolutely. We, are so impressed with the vegan options in Paris. Just recently, within the last 3, even 4 years, or even less than that, it just boomed. Like there's just so many vegan options now. There's a gorgeous French vegan bakery that we really love. It's called VG Patisserie. It's in the 11th arrondissement. It's really lovely there because their croissants are really genuine. They're flaky and they're really, really delicious. And they have gorgeous cakes that you would usually get in a French patisserie. But then there's also this really lovely new bakery called Land and Monkeys that everyone's also talking about, which you can get really great sandwiches and obviously croissant and pain au chocolat. And you'll go in there and your eyes will just go wide. Like, what do I not come out with, basically? And then another place that we really like, we usually suggest to our guests like French-based restaurants, because you're in France. Why not go to a place and try vegan food that's French? So we always recommend Le Potager du Marais. That's one of the oldest French restaurants in Paris. They were originally vegetarian, and then at some point they decided to go full on vegan. And when they did that, I was like very, very happy about it. And I just want to support them all the time. And I love the owner. He's so friendly and helpful as well, and he speaks English. So for those who don't speak French, he's very helpful with suggestions. So yeah,
we love him too. I can't remember his name right now, but he's always so lovely. Whenever we go there, he's so welcoming. I love the vegan bourguignon. I love the creme brulee, and I love the French onion soup. It's quite salty, but I really like it. And you must reserve a table there, otherwise you will be disappointed. Whenever we go there, we always reserve, and then we watch people coming in off the street, and then they're just, he's like, did you make a reservation? They're like, no, and like, sorry, we're full. He's polite about it, but he can't do anything about it, and then people get upset with him, and I'm like, but you really should make a reservation. This is the only vegan restaurant in Paris that has French vegan food. Every tourist is going to check it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. There's another one we recently discovered. I think it's also quite new, but really good, actually. It's called Diamond. They have 2 locations, Diamond Saint-Honoré and Diamond Faubourg. It's the same owner, and it's fun, but a little bit more, I would say, like upscale type food, vegan food, but the dishes are really lovely and it's casual, but at the same time, not casual. It's really a fun atmosphere to experience because you're in Paris. Highly
Yes,
recommend that.
I have not been there yet. I believe they have like a vegan caviar or something like that, but I have not been yet. But
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
it's on my list.
Yeah, we were there in June for my birthday, and the vegan caviar there. Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't have anything to compare it to because I have never had vegan caviar. But wow, it was amazing. It was probably my favorite thing there.
Awesome. I was looking on your website before we jumped on this call, and I saw that you do have like retreats and event possibilities. So, how does that work? Are they just in French? Are they in English? How do people book?
Our guests normally book directly through us via email. I know it's a bit old school, but we like to have this personal connection versus just like, here's a platform, make your reservation here. So we usually converse via email. Most of the time it's with our guests who want to do cycling, either road or mountain biking. And then I offer Pilates classes because I'm a Pilates instructor, but I'm also a physiotherapist. So I really kind of zone in on people's issues. It's very personalized. And then we also do climbing tours. So hopefully the forest will open again and we can do climbing tours because we have a few guests at the end of our season who want to do that. So we'll see.
I love it. Okay, so I'm sure people listening are adding La Grange des Rochers onto their bucket list when they're next in France, or maybe even going to France now. They're tempted to go to La Grange des Rochers. How do people learn more about the accommodation and then go ahead and book?
I think most of our guests learn about it through social media. So usually they tell us that they've found us through Facebook or through Instagram, and then they contact us normally via email is usually how most people contact us. We're also on Veg Visits, and people can have the option to book directly through Veg Visits, but most of them just email us, and then they say they've also found us on Happy Cow. So that's usually how people find us and book with us.
I love it. And the website is La Grange des Rochers, La Grange des Des Rochers, ROCHERS.com. And of course, we're going to be linking directly to their website on our show notes. And you definitely want to follow along. Yeah, you're really active on social media. You do such a great job with that. So I really hope that a lot of people will visit this part of France. I don't think it really gets that much love from North Americans maybe, but that doesn't mean that it isn't a beautiful part of France. There's just so many incredible areas of France. And the fact that there is a vegan bed and breakfast in the countryside, because being vegan in the French countryside or traveling as a vegan in the French countryside is pretty darned time consuming / annoying / frustrating. So the fact that you are creating this opportunity for vegan travelers is just so fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, it's such a pleasure. We love meeting vegans from around the world. That's probably the best part of it.
Oh,
So
I love it. Thank you.
Thank you.